Microsoft Excel does everything it can to take a lot of work off of you. It will do your calculations for you. You just have to be sure and build those formulas correctly. It will also help you to fill in your information, and that's what we're going to look at right now. There are some built-in features in Microsoft Excel to help us fill. So let's start here with numbers. So we have a 1 and then a 2. You can see these are numbers because they're aligning along the right edge of the cell. And you can see that these two numbers are incremented by a value of 1. So here, if I were to type a 2 and a 4, then these would be incremented by a value of 2. These are incremented by a value of 1. So I wanted to have over here, say 0, and then 5, and then 10, and so on. Then I would be incrementing these by a value of 5. Well, if you need to fill a series of these things, what you do is you highlight both of these, the ones that you want to fill a series of numbers, and you want them to be incremented by whatever you set up originally. Then you just grab the fill handle and left click and hold and pull down, and see it will automatically fill all of those numbers, and they will all be incremented by 1 because that's what you set up right here. If I wanted to do the same thing here for these 2 and 4, then I would just highlight these two, grab this fill handle, left click hold, pull this down, and you can see that all of these are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. See, that's all incremented by 2. And over here, if I highlight these two, I'm just going to forget that 10, and just grab this fill handle and pull it down. Then we see 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on. So Excel has a wonderful way of helping you save a lot of work and save a lot of time. Now, not only with numbers, but with some text values. For instance, if we type Monday, and just grab this right here. Now notice the fill handle. The fill handle is this little corner. Let me just zoom in here for you a little bit. So if I hover over this cell, you can see that it has a border around it, and this means that this is the active cell. It's called the active cell because this is the cell that is currently selected. So here we have in the corner, bottom right-hand corner of this cell, there's a square dot. Can you see that? A little square green dot. And you see the mouse indicator that I have when I'm just floating around in the Excel worksheet. Call that the fat plus sign. But now, no, and you saw in previous lessons, if we move the mouse indicator up here to the between the columns, we can get the column resize indicator. There's all kinds of different mouse indicators in Excel, and one of the ones that you're going to love to use is this one, where when you get right over the plus sign, right here in the lower right-hand corner, that's called the fill handle. Fill handle, and we move the mouse over it, and it changes from that fat plus sign to just a regular old plus sign like you would see in arithmetic. So here we're going to left click hold, drag, and notice what it does. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I'm going to zoom back out here a little bit. And these values, or these words, these are all set up in the system so that they'll just keep repeating. So for instance, if I click here on Tuesday and grab the fill handle and just pull it across, then it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It starts all over. And it'll just keep going as far as you want to drag it. All right, I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that one. I'll come up here. I've shown you Monday. Now you can also do the abbreviations like MON for Monday. Grab the fill handle here, pull it down, and you see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. It'll just keep repeating that series. So you can do the abbreviation MON, or, by the way, and you can start with any of these. If I wanted to start with Thursday, okay, then grab it, go down, and Excel just knows where you are, and it knows that since you typed in THU and you're pulling down on the fill handle, it assumes that you're wanting to fill a series. You can do the same thing not only with days of the week, but how about months of the year? January. Grab that fill handle, pull it down. Come back up here, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and so on, December. And then we're right back after Christmas. Okay, same thing with the full names. And again, we wouldn't have to start with January. Let's say that we wanted to build a calendar that would start with the school year, which begins in August. So I could just type August and then drag and fill down through the range of months. So August, September, October, November, December. And I wouldn't have to type all of these. And wouldn't have to be getting typographical errors because the fill handle helps us to do this. Now there's a lot of other cool ways that you can work with this. The only ones that we really have in the series are the names of the week and then the names of the months. And we can also create custom lists that we could fill with. Now, I want to point out one thing. We can auto-increment the numbers like this, but remember you have to type in one, then you have to type in the second one, and you have to make sure that these are incrementing, which means to how much is it going to increase each time. That's what increment means. It's going to increment by some amount. And here it's 1, and it's a value of 1 because I go from 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see again. Come over here, and let's say that I want to have a value of 1.375, and the next one I want to be 2.789. All right, so if I wanted these numbers to increment by those crazy decimal values and pull it down, it will do it. You can do just about any kind of thing that you want to do here. If I wanted to have, let's say, 0.5% and then 0.75%, I could just highlight these two, grab the fill handle, and pull it down. And it will fill that series and save you a lot of work. The one thing it won't do, though, is like with letters. So if I type an A and a B, and then highlight these, and then grab that fill handle and pull it down, all it's going to do is repeat the pattern. Because Excel can't make the assumptions about text the way that it makes assumptions about numbers. So just remember that you cannot do autofill with just plain words. It wouldn't even work with Monday, Tuesday, and January, February. It wouldn't even work with these if these were not already pre-built into a list. Now I'm going to come right up here in between A1 and this corner box up here. This is called Home. I'm going to click on Home, and that selects the entire worksheet. And then I'm going to press Delete. So it clears it all out. Now so come back to cell A1. Now we're going to go back to the File button. So right up here on the ribbon, we'll go to File. And we'll come down to Options. And here on the Advanced tab, we're going to grab the scroll bar and pull it down to a section called General. It's right down here. So we're in the Advanced tab in Excel Options, and here is the General section here. And notice it says Edit Custom Lists. So if I click this button right here, this is where Excel gets this SUN, MON, TUE, and so on. Sunday all spelled out through Saturday, and Jan, Feb, Mar, and then January, February, March, all like these. All right, say if I wanted to create a custom list. For instance, the oldest sibling in my family is Tom, and then right after Tom, Betty was born, my sister, and I was the third child in my family. And then my mom had Richard, and then Damon and Raymond. And Damon and Raymond sound alike because those were twins. So, and I'm about 6 years older than Damon and Raymond. So that put me right smack in the middle of my family. So if you're a middle child, so am I. I know what it's like. All right, so here I've added a list of siblings. And all I have to do is click on Add. And it will add that list over here. So I can come to OK, click that to accept those entries. Now I'm going to click OK again. Now if I come right here and I type Tom, I didn't even capitalize it, did I? Grab the fill handle and pull it down, and it fills them all, and since I didn't capitalize it, it's not going to either. But notice that there's my list of my siblings. If I capitalize the Tom, or let's just start with me this time, there's Jim. And so grab the fill handle, pull it down, and there they are in the correct order. Jimmy, then Richard, then Damon and Raymond, then back to Tom, Betty, and there I am again, and so on. So you can build your own custom list, like if you've got all your siblings. So you can think about any kind of list that you can imagine, and you can go back to the File on the ribbon, and come down to Options, and come down to Advanced, and come down to General. Find that list, the Edit Custom List again. You can come right back down in here. You can create your own. Just click on where it says New List, and then start typing your values in right here. When you get them all in correctly, then just click on Add, and you're done. So I'm going to click OK, because we're not going to make any changes here, and come back. Now there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is a really nice feature. Now I'm going to just come up and type some, mythical last names. There's Roberts, and here's a Jones, and here's a, what would we call this? Harrelson, Williams, Bentley. There we go. Now, here we have these names, and I'm just going to get rid of these. I'll get rid of this column A. By the way, notice how I get rid of column A. I want these to go away. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to delete that column. And will that be a problem for me if I delete this column? Then all of a sudden I won't have a column A anymore. Let's see what happens. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to select delete. No. See what happens, Excel is smart enough to know that if you're deleting a column, then it needs to always start with A, and so it just renames all the columns. All right, so let's come back over here. This feature that I'm about to show you is found on the Home tab, and over here under Editing, there is a section called Fill, and it's called Flash Fill. This is a new feature, came out just a few years ago, and it's really great because what it does, I have to be next to the cells where I want to work. So if I'm right next to these cells, then I can just come right in here, and I'll type Jim Smith, and then I'll hit Enter. I can come right here and tell this to Flash Fill, and it will come in here and type all of the rest of those names for me, just like that. What if I didn't want to have the Jim? What if I just wanted to have, let's say, J period, and then Smith? Let's see if it'll let me do that. Flash Fill. Look at that. And it does it with the initials. So it looks for patterns, and it looks, of course, all of these cells have to be touching, and so it looks for patterns in the way that you give it in this first one, and then when you click on Fill and then Flash Fill, it will just automatically fill that series for you. So I've introduced you here to how Excel can help you fill the information, and it will fill numbers again, and if you enter a set of numbers and you increment them by the incremental steps that you want. In this case, I'm incrementing these numbers by 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. So whatever you set up, you can increment. It can be decimal values. It can be percent values. It can be anything that's a number. So just think about numbers. Remember, it will not autofill text for you. unless that text is built into that custom list, where that you have a list of values that are already entered, and then you just type in one and then use the fill handle, and it will fill in that list. But it won't fill in any other kind of text unless you have it in that custom list. So this is the way Excel helps you to enter data, by using the fill handle on a cell. And the only thing you have to remember is that if you're going to fill with numbers, you have to select the first two. And the way you do that, just click on one, left click hold, drag down, and then reach down and grab the fill handle and pull it down, and there you go.